Top of the morning. What do you use to fuel? So I'm typically a Gatorade guy. Gatorade Endurance blend, as I've discovered over the last few years, works wonders out on the long run. It's got less sugar and more electrolytes than regular Gatorade, which, if you're like me, Gatorade's great, but can kind of turn my stomach sour with all that sugar in the regular blend. So, last several years I've sworn up and down by Gatorade Endurance, and I still love it. I will hit some Tailwind, primarily out on race days. A lot of trail races around here. Shout out Three Sisters Ultra event. Shout out Firewater 100K, Tony, Kathy and company. Always have some yummy Tailwind at their races. But I gotta admit, I get tired of Tailwind after, really after about 20, 30 miles. So it's great for a long time, but not long enough. Well, I got something new today. So, I'm talking about LMNT, spelled LMNT. Curiously satisfying 4-letter logo, and it's got no sugar and no calories. So we got blessing curse situation. There's 10 calories in one of these little servings, but, and I'm going to tell you why this is important for me in a second, it's got 1,000 milligrams of sodium. Yeah, that's a lot. Sounds like a lot, it is a lot. 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200-300 of potassium. It's just loaded with electrolytes. Okay, why? Gatorade's got a bunch. Way less than that though. Gatorade Endurance has more, but not that much. So, founder of that company sends a little news article thing, or it's rather like a journal entry that he's written up like a news article in the first order, explaining the thesis behind the company, why he started it, why he developed this blend. Whew, I think it's a he or she. Anyway, founder of the company developed this because salt deficiency. So the theory being that we're not getting enough salt. Now, that's like general public from what I understand. Much less crazy freaking ultra runners like you and me who are sweating out buckets of salt, especially in the summer. So, hey, I'm game. My buddy John recommended it. He switched over to try out this summer too. I think this is my 3rd or 4th run running by using it. Now we got to fuel also, so we got to supplement it because there's no calories, right? Not for shorter stuff, but for what I'm doing. So I am like 12 and a half miles in to a 20-mile run this morning. Typically on these long runs, I'm not going fast. 9 minute plus miles. Typically on these runs, I'll take a couple flasks. Sometimes I'll fill my bladder. 2 liters of liquid for the whole run. So I've had 1 flask of LMNT so far. We're approaching my beloved Fire Tower Hill, at which point I will walk and break out the next flask. And I've had Pop-Tart. So, doing 2 new things at once, changing 2 variables. Not recommended, but whatever. So I had Pop-Tarts mid-run at about 8 miles. To see how those do, that's 370 calories, plus the 10 from the LMNT. And we're just gonna see if this helps with what has happened in the past on my long races, which is that I start really fading 3/4 of the way through. Particularly and specifically, the marathon attempt in close to 1 month now. Because earlier this year, prime weather conditions, and I died at 15 miles. Now, I still had a good run. It's my personal best, but my pace died. I couldn't keep my race pace. So I went from 7 or sub 7 to 8 or +8. Hey, there's a deer down here. See if I can turn the camera around. I cannot. Doesn't matter. It just went off into the woods because it heard crazy human ultra runner talking to his square palm held device. There's another one back there. Typically we'll see some deer on this stretch of greenway. Right over here, I mean, maybe 40 yards is the interstate, I-40. Chattanooga that way, Knoxville that way. And then back up this way is the top of a neighborhood. Real pretty. Just up on this hillside, mountainous hillside. And when we get to the fire tower, which is actually a water tower, as I've told you before, we're able to see all the way to the Smokies. Just gorgeous. I think it's going to be a good morning for it too. All right, I'll show you that here in a second. But yeah, primary purpose of the element of the change-up is to figure out a formula that works so that I can survive. It's not, I don't think it's muscle atrophy. It's not breathing. It's just the cramping and the, I guess it is some muscle atrophy that gets to me on those peak performance miles where I need peak performance and I'm just losing it. We'll see how it works. The element is delicious, by the way. So I'm mixing it. It says use 16 to 32 ounces of water to taste for a packet. So I'm using a 500 milliliter flask. That's half a liter in real measurement terms, which I think is like 16, 20 ounces or so. So I'm in the more concentrated end of that spectrum. We've reached our hill, so I'm gonna get some out, have another sip, meet you up here at the water tower, fire tower, see if we can see the mountains. Got the water tower right up here, and I wish I'd been able to film what just happened. So I pulled these out of my vest back there, and this will teach me not using a bladder. I'll grab it like this and hold on to it while I put my vest back on and everything, you know? Well, apparently these little nozzles can fall off. The freaking thing fell off while I was biting it, spilled LMNT all over myself. As such, I do not have a full flask. Pretty peeved, but it was pretty funny, I gotta tell you that. All right, here we are. Fire tower for the win. Let's go see if we got any kind of view over here of the Smokies. Turning the camera around. Very pretty neighborhood. And we got some cloud cover. Still epic looking. I don't know if you can make out everything on the camera. Probably not. No, you can't. It's beautiful though. Great morning to be running. All right, here we go.